Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Corey again with another home theater living room tour. And it's been a while, it's been maybe a little over a year since I did one of these. So I thought it was about time to come back and show you what's been going on in the living room. I haven't made a ton of changes, but I have rearranged the room a little bit since you last saw it. You can see here, I flipped the love seat over to the other side and moved my Blu-ray collection over there. Here's my Pioneer Andrew Jones speakers, the infamous ones. They still sound great as ever, and I'm perfectly happy with them. Here's the little entertainment center that I brought out of the other room. I'm using that as a center speaker cabinet and Laserdisc display. And I've got plenty of awesome Laserdiscs up here. Here's the Carl's Place projector screen in Pro Gray. Inexpensive, but really good option for this. It's just attached to the wall, so there's no frame or anything. And here's some nice home theater decorations along with the Blu-ray and very early startings of a 4K Blu-ray collection, even though I don't have anything to play 4K on yet. But you know, for certain movies that I like a lot, like John Wick, I'm willing to spend a couple dollars more to be future-proofed. And here's the outgoing furniture. At the time of recording this, we've already gone out and purchased our new sofa and love seat, but the sofa was not in stock, so we're waiting for that to be in stock so that they can deliver them, which hopefully will be happening in the next week or two. And there's Maisie being nosy again while I'm recording. And aside from the sofas, these sofas were given to us, and they were fine for a few years. But probably the number one reason why I was really ready for an upgrade and to go pick out our own furniture is when I put my legs up. As you can see, my legs do not fit on these recliners at all. They are made for short people, and I'm 6'2", so to give you an idea of how much they don't fit me. So that's why I use my gray ottoman to be able to keep from all of my leg weight resting on my calves, which is very uncomfortable. So yeah, that was probably my number one reason, but there's several others. Like in your back, there's a bar that kind of pokes into you. Can't really lay flat. These sofas are about 10 years old now. They've lost a lot of their cushioning. They're pretty flat. So I'll be excited to show you the next update video soon, showing off the really awesome recliner that I picked out. And here's another interesting feature of this recliner. So this part is pretty fluffy, but then you get back here and it's just donk. Nothing. And my elbow always sits in that dent. So another good reason to replace them. Next, I'll show you my little walkway lights that I put on the outlets on the open side of the room. Here you can see where I took some tinting film and put on the lens so that it would darken it a little bit because it was way too bright and it would shine in your eyes. And they look really cool at night, which I can't really show off on camera, but they just give a very faint glow to the floor, kind of like you would see in a theater walkway without shining up on the screen. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen my other videos, here's a look at my surround speakers. These are on the sides, pretty much lined up with the main seating area. And ideally I would have liked to have these back a little further because they're supposed to be behind your head. But where I put the right surround speaker, it had to be on that cupboard, which only goes back so far. And here you can see the rear speakers, the 7.1 part of it. And here's my hi-fi shelf, which I've just recently put together, and here's the wonderful turntable that I got for Christmas. It was a gift from my dad, which he just let me go pick out what I wanted from the vintage audio shop. So I got this MCS, nothing fancy, but it's direct drive and came with the inexpensive but very popular Ortophone Omega. And it's my first direct drive turntable, and I really like the way it sounds and handles. It's semi-automatic, so really nice. Really happy with that. And then here's the next part of my hi-fi shelf. I just recently got this tube buffer where all the audio, whether it's coming from the turntable, the Chromecast, or the CD player, all of that goes into the switch, and then the switch feeds into the tube buffer, and then the tube buffer goes off to the Yamaha receiver. And here you can see the Technics CD changer, which is from the mid-90s. It looks very mid-90s. And I actually found this at a thrift store for 15 bucks. There was actually two identical ones. Maybe I should have brought both of them home, but I only brought the one home. And it works pretty well. I think the only problem was that it had trouble with skipping. And once I cleaned the lens with some alcohol, it was fine after that. It plays very well and it sounds good. Like, I don't really have any complaints about the DAC in it. And I still very much enjoy putting in CDs, just like I enjoy putting on records, because I'd much rather be able to put on something with my own hands. But then again, when I'm sitting down and I don't want to get up, I'm fine with putting on Chromecast. I usually use Tidal, or I just use my own server. There's my CD collection and records. These are pretty much like my favorites. The overflow is in the other room, but these are the best of the best. And now we can see inside the Closet of Wonders, where the magic happens. First, you can see the Yamaha Avantage receiver I got last year, or actually the year before that. About a year and a half I've had it. And I've just recently got this VCR. And yes, we do watch VHS tapes regularly on the home theater projector, run through the DVD-O for video upscaling. And you know, I won't say they look good, but they don't look terrible. They're VHS. There's the PS4 mounted on the door. And at least with the PS4 mounted on the door, you can occasionally open the door wide and let the air flow. And here's my recent addition of a bunch of movie buttons on the side of the closet. A bunch of these we found at the thrift store, so they probably came from a video store liquidation, or you know, the theater. Here's the PS3 and the 360 still holding up in the closet, and here's my older stack where I've got the Laserdisc player. It's a Pioneer, and then that goes into the DVD-O, which I've just recently had to replace the power brick, which those are notorious for going bad, so I just got a cheap one off of eBay and it works fine. And then the reason I have the other scaler on top of that is because for some reason my DVD-O doesn't have a strong HDMI signal, so if I go more than a foot on it, it breaks up once it gets to the Yamaha. So I run it through the DVI gearbox, just HDMI to HDMI, and that, I guess, reprocesses the signal enough to where it doesn't then get broken up on its way to the receiver. And here you can see the Yamaha in action. I've got my cooling fan on top, which is powered by the Yamaha, so it's really simple. It turns on and off with the receiver. I bought a pack of USB lights off of Amazon for other things, and then I just ended up sticking it in the Yamaha because it looked cool. Gives you a little light without having to flick on the fluorescent just to put a disc in or something. And up top, that's the cooling fan that pumps exhaust, like warm air, out of the closet. So hopefully it should get a good amount of airflow. I don't think I've had any problem with overheating anything. And in the closet here I also have a UPS backup system, which doesn't run everything. The only things that are on the battery side of it is the network, the cable, modem, the router, and the PS4, because the PS4 of course complains every time the power goes out. But the good thing is that as long as the PS4 is off, you can run the network in a complete power outage for about 30 minutes. Which hopefully is enough time for them to get the power back on, or otherwise you'll lose your Wi-Fi. The rest of the equipment is all running out of the non-battery side of the UPS, just so it can condition the power and make it stable. And over next to the decorative hutch is my Cambridge Audio 12-inch subwoofer with aftermarket amplifier, just because the old one had died. And surprisingly, it doesn't rattle the hutch, so that was one of my concerns. And actually, I think the hutch helped the bass because it channels it out of that corner really well. And as soon as I got this set up, I immediately saw a difference, or heard a difference. My Epson Home Cinema 2000 isn't going to blow you away like the best 4K projector of today will, because this one's actually a 2013 model, I think, but it still does a very good job. We're still getting a lot of use out of it, and I know we've definitely gotten a lot of use out of it because I've already changed the bulb once, and now we're halfway through our second bulb. So it gets a lot of use, whether that's movies, video games, or just YouTube and streams off the internet. And I haven't done a ton of serious calibration. I have gone through the usual tests with brightness and contrast, and I try to get those right. I'd say that I'm not super obsessive about calibration because usually my calibrated results just don't look that great on screen. I think pretty much what I have it set to now is -5 on brightness, +5 on contrast, and I think +5 on saturation, and like +1 on sharpness. Pretty much everything else is just straight down the board 0. And actually there's 2 features of this projector that I would like to use, but I just can't deal with it because of the sound. One, full brightness mode as opposed to eco mode. Full brightness mode should be around 1800 lumens, and then eco mode drops it down to about 1200 lumens. The problem is that when you're in full power mode, the fan is also in full power mode, and it's right above your head, so it's really loud. And I've tried to get used to it, tried to deal with it, but I just couldn't. So I end up putting it on eco mode anyway, even though I'd like it to be a little brighter. The other feature about the projector that I wish I could use, but I just can't, is the auto iris, because it has auto iris for darkening the screen when it's a dark moment, opening it up when it's a bright moment, and I've tried to use that several times, but I just can't get used to the noises that it makes when it's adjusting. So every time the scene changes a little bit, just a hair of a difference, you'll hear It's right above my head. I can't stand that. It's just grating. If and when I upgrade my projector to a, maybe a 4K DLP with HDR, that would probably be the next one I'd go for, maybe a BenQ 3550. I really hope that it can be quieter and the auto iris be quieter so I can actually use them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, this update about what I've been doing with the living room. And tune in next time when I'll be showing off the new sofa and recliner. Until then, I hope you have a good day, and see you later.